Wat meer.
Hello everyone, my name is Sagar and I'm a solution architect at Integrate Consultancy and joined by
Steef and Wiggers from the Netherlands.
today's session, which is called Beyond Building an AI Agent, and the title is deliberate. There are plenty of talks about how to quickly use AI, building AI agents, etc. Yeah, and doing a quick demo about it. But we want to go further and show you a full journey. So, what is the next step after you build an AI agent? Yeah. So, of course, right from picking up the model and then designing an agent and then evaluating it based on defined parameters. So, the evaluation will be the major part of this session. What is the meaning of evaluation? What kind of parameters which are available? How can you manually do it? How can you use AI to evaluate an AI agent? On different parameters, things like that. Because the real challenge isn't building the agent itself, but keeping it performing, improving, and making it fit for the purpose, what it should do. And that's also we call agent ops, but in ops there are many other things as well apart from evaluation, but we will mostly talk about evaluation here. Yeah. So yeah, let's see in today's session.
Introduction slide, so many of you probably know me already. I'm Steef and Wiggers. I work now as a domain architect at VGZ, so I'm no longer a consultant. My office is in Arnhem, I live in Arnhem, so it's pretty close together. My focus is on data, AI, and integration, of course. Still a Microsoft MVP for quite a long time. And besides that, I also work for InfoQ. Not sure if everyone's familiar with InfoQ, part of QCom Media. That's kind of my part-time job next to my data jobs.
Thank you. And as I said, I work as business domain solution architect, cross-functional, mostly on B2B, B2C, retail system, digital payments, loyalty systems, integrations, AI. And what my employer, I work for integration consultancy, EX in short form, group of companies like integration consultancy itself, but also integration team, BFlows, Arcus, basically part of Kronos group here. Yeah. And we work on multiple integration technologies, not just Agen, IBM, and and other things. So we offer architecture consultancy, implementation, and also managed services. So, about today's agenda, as we spoke earlier, this is what we are going to talk about. First of all, we are going to set some context that how did we get here? So, what was the evolution of AI from where we started and where we are as of now? And then and then Gen AI Ops, yes, AI Ops, but not as whole, but maybe we'll take a part out of it. Meeting the models, actually we will do a live building an agent and then evaluating it. We'll design that agent and then we will evaluate the agent responses based on certain parameters. So that's where the focus will be.
Yeah, I'll draw the context first. I thought, put some cows in here. We're in the Netherlands, so I like to talk about precision farming. So this is before agents came into play. This is about precision farming, is about how to have the cow produce as much milk as possible. And you do that through linear optimization. That's kind of a machine learning kind of thing you can do. So back then, talk about 10 years ago, you couldn't go to an agent or have any model and say, hey, let those cows produce as much milk as possible. Because that's not possible at all. What you need to do is through all the data pipelines, aggregate as much data as possible. So what kind of cow it is, what does it feed? So that is dit is kuilgras. I don't know what the English word is, but that's grass they eat, and it's enhanced by what an agricultural company would produce as in krachtvoer, farm food. And bringing it all together, you kind of want to have this precision mix to have this cow produce as much milk as possible. So that's kind of what we did back in the day. However, we're not going to talk about precision farming or machine learning. We're going to fast forward into the area we are kind of today. So it started out with prompts, ChatGPT, if many of you use that. It's kind of going back and forth. Similar to chatbots, you probably notice when you go to a certain website and you think, hey, I want to look something up, and then this chatbot pops up, and you might find it annoying, you might not find it annoying. You ask some questions, and it will, based on question and answers, get you further.
You will ask them questions and then it will tell you no.
You know, or at the end of the day, you might need to call an agent itself, but then likely. Going forward, many of you are probably familiar with Copilot as well. 2 or 3 years ago, I think I went to build, and then there was Copilot all over, and any product on Microsoft, you had a Copilot. Basically, that progressed more because compute became more available, more powerful, models became more apparent and more powerful as well, giving you the possibility with an agent to do more things like, with tools, memory, workflows, to be more goal-oriented and multi-step. So if you go to Anthropic today, you can say, hey, you put a prompt in and then it does all kinds of stuff, because a lot of things are done in the background, multiple agents as well. And the other thing you see, I think many of you have experimented with it, so did we at VGZ, and in the end of the day, you have something as a proof of concept that you want to move towards production as well. So we're kind of getting into an area where it's maybe not as, I would say playground, but really getting actual to something tangible, something that really serves the business as well. So what is an agent in practice, basically? We kind of give it a goal. So it could be like design a room for me or create something. It will do kind of a plan. It will use all kinds of tools we are familiar today. I think Gijs did a great talk. You heard some previous speaker as well. You have all these kind of tools and data for you. So you have APIs, you have RAG, you have MCP service, you have product catalogs. You basically have all the stuff you need. And then basically the agent in several steps generates the result for you. Similar to Anthropic, if I say, I've got a Claude AI subscription, maybe got another subscription, you put in kind of a prompt and a lot of things are done in the background. In Claude, you really can see the steps as well. So you see the multi-steps, and ultimately gets the result. Now, we also move away from traditional apps to, like what I've experienced back in the day with precision farming as an example, which is integration as well, to more of an AI agent. So this becomes a bit different. You're coming from deterministics to probabilistic. So it's more about, predictions and models, and the outputs can vary. So that's different than logic is predictable, testable. You know what kind of the outcome is versus what not is going to be the output. So, and even some of the changes can have big effects. You've heard this in the previous talk as well. This means that in the end of the day, you're going from proof of concept to production. It also requires a different approach with designing, testing, and all that stuff, which is kind of making your agent come into production or make it operational, which means agent ops.
Yeah, and that's where the idea of Gen AI ops, AI ops comes in. Yeah, and just like DevOps for our DevOps brought a structure to our traditional software development, Gen AI ops brings the same thing for workflows, tools, and agents we build, right? So yeah, so that we can build them, test them, and ship AI experiences. In this session, we will talk about AI ops. Yeah, so it's basically the same thing. We talk about design, and then we talk about design, and then basically creating an agent, customizing it based on feedback, putting in production, correcting the feedback, again, improving it. It could be fine-tuning of the model, it could be fine-tuning of the prompt, or it could be giving it more context, more MCC, so that it can hallucinate less, produce more tangible output, etc. But this is basically a cycle which will improve it, just like we do for traditional software development. So let's dive in. Idea is that, of course, I do have a scenario with me. What we want to do here is that we will build an AI agent. Yeah, we will not focus on that part much. We will do it quickly here. Yeah, and then we will see that, of course, to build an AI agent, we need a model. So how do you select a model? How do you compare the models? And then you build an agent. And after the agent is ready, how do you evaluate it based on certain things, certain parameters, also manual, and also using certain tools. Yeah. So for the whole demo, we will use Microsoft-based technologies. So it will be VS Code, AI Foundry, and AI Toolkit. Yeah, from Microsoft as a plugin in VS Code. So to start with, do we have a scenario from the audience? Anything which we can build as an agent quickly? Of course, we'll not integrate it with MCP because that is too much. But anyone? Any suggestion?
Relying on something.
Okay.
Now, we did this talk last week at Azure Heroes, and they predominantly came with scenarios like infrastructure as code and that kind of stuff. So,
Yeah, having an architect as an agent and many things, there were many solutions.
yeah, we kind of built an agent, architect is an agent for infrastructure. If not, then
Yeah. But yeah, just anyone wants to suggest something? It could be something random, funny, doesn't matter. It should be quick.
We stopped migrating.
Okay.
Yeah. Deep dive.
Just a quick one.
Until 12.
Maybe do the.
Well, of this year or this year?
Do your own example.
Okay. No, but that can also be done.
yeah, we can do that too.
We can do that. Yeah. Okay. So an agent which will what it will do? You tell it that we have this kind of integration built in desktop, and we want to migrate to Azure integration.
Describe the business process and have it select components to build the
Yeah.
same integration in Azure component.
Right. Yeah. So we tell it that okay, we have this integration built in desktop having these things, and then how you will translate it to an Azure integration based solution, such as the services and the which part should be done in which service. Yeah. Okay. Great. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Let's do it. I will skip my scenario. Okay. So we will come to VS Code.
Yeah, it's not on the screen.
No.
Okay.
Bonus points.
Yeah.
Yes. So
The timer goes to 10 minutes or?
We have until 45, right? Yeah, we can manage it.
okay. So leave my scenarios behind.
Budget of 1.5 million.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to build an agent which suggests migration from desktop server
Based on
base to
I guess you can record it with you asking the question. Look at the very period.
the agent
The second. Yeah.
and
You can say the form that's based on the question. Answer. Or create the form. No. I think.
cut my finger yesterday, so chalk. Okay, so this is what we want to do. Now, first of all, what I will do is I will take a help. So first of all, in VS Code, there is this AI toolkit which is available. This is a new plugin from Microsoft, yeah, which actually gives you various possibilities, and also it enables various MCP tools which you can actually use as part of your AI agent building lifecycle. Yeah. So and it install various MCPs etc. which are useful. Yeah. So here what I want to do is I want to build an agent, okay, yeah. So I will tell it that suggest me a model for this agent, okay. So we have our scenario and I'm asking it that what agent should I use, yeah. So we start from here, what model should I use for this agent? Yeah. Of course I'm using Cloud Sonnet and switch to whatever you want.
Does Sonnet ever suggest that you should use codecs?
It will do. It will, I think, for many scenarios, it generally end up with suggesting GPT 5.1, yeah, unless it's very specific or code related. So yeah, so see, it's suggesting GPT 4.0 and 0.1 mini. Is it?
You just see some more people.
Thanks.
Okay.
You are old.
For the model,
And then configure this.
it says that your primary model can be GPT 4.0 or 0.1 preview, 0.1 mini, or you could also go with the Sonnet 3.5, GPT 4 Turbo. So what we will do is, of course it's suggesting 2, but actually suggesting more than 2, but we'll just take 2 and we will open model playground and we will just try to compare that when we give the same prompt to both these models, how does it respond? Based on what we will like, we will select a model for our agent. So, okay, so we go to, so there is this model catalog, of course, where you can actually find all the models. You can see the models which are hosted in Microsoft Foundry. You can also see the models which are hosted locally. In fact, you can connect any model which you can access via REST API here. Yeah? So if it is hosted on local Foundry or Olama, or it's hosted on their own provider, or it's hosted on Microsoft AI Foundry, you can access all of them. Yeah. So you can select these, you can deploy them. Yeah. So whatever models are hosted in Azure Foundry, Microsoft Foundry, you actually use them for production purpose because they are enterprise grade infrastructure, security, and everything is there. But then there are also GitHub models, yeah, and these you can start with free. Of course, they have rate limiting, so you cannot use them for long, yeah. But it gives you a fair understanding without actually deploying your own model, but just using the one which is deployed in GitHub. You use it part of your subscription, and once you start liking something, you can use for MVP or something for demo. And when you are sure that okay, I want to go with this model, then you deploy it in AI Foundry and you start using it while building your agent. So here I see multiple GitHub models. I could see more. Yeah. So both these are the one. So I think there's a DeepSeek one which is prominent. Yeah. Then we see from Meta Llama model. We see OpenAI, and we also see. So what I will do is I will probably just collapse, and I will, for example, I have two models already added to my GitHub subscription. They are OpenAI GPT 4.1 and DeepSeek R1. Yeah. So what I will do is I will try them in Playground by giving the similar prompt. Yeah. Just a second. Yeah. I will click on compare, and then I want to compare this one with DeepSeek. And you could see, I have one locally hosted as well. Yeah, you see a local via Foundry local, so it can also access the models which are hosted locally on your laptop or within your network. So now actually you see two models side by side, and let's give it our prompt, which was not I want to build. Now it will be we are an agent which suggests no. Let's give it actual requirement and then see which one gives better output. So is a desktop application which sends incoming orders, incoming employee records to various systems based on department name which is in message context. Yeah. This is no orchestration, this is a content based routing application. Okay, everybody is aware about this talk. Okay, yeah, this is a CDR based application, no orchestration. Now we want to migrate to Azure integration services.
Including the message book.
Yeah.
Message MSGVOXDB. That's the correct one, right?
Yeah.
Message DB. Suggest services from AIS. Yeah, that's it. Okay. There is a story here as well. Okay, but GPT 4.1 was pretty fast, I guess. And also, if you look at the token uses, I think this one used far less tokens, approximately 1/5. Yeah. And let's look at what they suggested, both of them, so that we know that for our kind of scenarios, because these will be the things which we are going to ask to our agent, right? This was an example. So what this suggested is migrating the CDR functionality to a non-orchestration to Azure AIS is quite common. You want to replicate the core component message routing based on department name CDR. This is sending messages, message log database, PubSub model. Yeah, it suggests relevant AIS components, logic app used for workflows, routing, integration. Okay, can inspect method. Okay, just describe their generic use. Event grade API management function. Then the recommended architecture is to receive the employee message, use a logic app or API management to expose an endpoint for incoming record. CBR logic app inspect the message, department name, and conditionally route. Okay, can use the decision shape. I don't like this design. Ideally, it should be based on service bus topic and then routing it from there. But okay. Message storage and delivery. Logic app places the message in service bus. Multiple subscribers for each department. Yeah. Okay. Each subscription has rule filter. Okay, that's great. Integration with target system. Okay. So this is what it suggests. It suggests to receive a message using either logic app HTTP endpoint or maybe wrapping it around API management. And then from there, logic app should probably just publish the message to service bus into a topic by putting that department name somewhere in the message, and then based on that there are multiple subscribers, could be another logic app or multiple logic apps per department which basically subscribe for that message and then does it part of sending. Yeah, so this is the migration steps. Okay, now coming to this response. It's a long story. Then key services is logic app. Its role is ingestion, HTTP trigger, more or less the same thing. Then parsing, routing, custom property service message. Okay, and downstream action. Okay, more or less it looks the same, but just for the sake of time, can you suggest which model should we use? I want to go ahead with OpenAI GPT 4.1, but it could be anyone. Okay, let's go with that. I'll select this model. So I'll go to model catalog. No, in fact, I will go to agent builder. I will call this agent. What should be the agent name?
MIUG.
This is my operation.
Transform one.
Yeah. No. This one. Okay. I select this model, and then instructions you can write. After writing the instruction, you can also edit those instructions, improve it, but you could also generate the instruction by providing it a prompt that, okay, this is what I want to build and what I want to build. So you are okay and generate. So it will generate the actual prompt or instruction or persona or that agent. Yeah. In your scenario, so we will just have instruction or persona for the agent, but you could also connect it with an MCP to provide it more context. Yeah. So it supports all type of MCP integrations. Yeah. So here are the instructions. Suggest a migration plan. There is personalized and all. Okay. It suggests the steps and everything, and it suggests the output. Produce the output in JSON format. Okay. I want to maybe improve it, and the improvement is that the output should. So this basically a feedback you can give based, the prompt it's generated for AI agent. You can give it an instruction to improve it. Yeah. Output should be in plain text, or rather formatted text. Yeah. And not JSON. I hope the demo finishes before my tokens.
Would you also let it generate like a Azure Developer CLI package or a template or something to deploy?
You can. So basically, you can connect it with. So there are MCP tool available from Microsoft Lab. So actually, you can inject all the Microsoft documentation, give it a context. You can also give your whole code as a context. Yeah. And then probably it could start doing something useful. Otherwise, it will hallucinate a lot. It's very general purpose. You need to make it specific by restricting. It's like put on the post so that it doesn't look.
And probably it would be better to split this information from.
Here is a tool where basically you can add multiple MCP agents, variables connected, but we will not talk about it. Okay, so we are here, and this agent is kind of ready. I will save this agent. Once you save the agent, you see this tab, evaluation, and this is what was the main objective. Yeah? So what we are going to do is, we are going to give it some prompts, some scenarios, and based on that we will see. So we will give it some prompts, we will see what response it generates, and then we will manually rate it, whether we liked it or not, so that it can fine tune itself. But then we will also use another AI agent to actually test the responses and test the response based on certain parameters. What are those parameters? We will also see that. So what you can do, either you can add your queries here. Queries, for example, similar to what we have just done, that okay, there is a CDR application, employee record department here. Or what we can also do is, let me just delete it. Let me also try to use AI for this purpose. So maybe we'll ask it to generate 2 rows. Okay. So it generated two scenarios for us, which it will give as input. One of them is the prompt template design generate a structured migration plan for moving a BizTalk server-based interface to an Azure integration service-based interface. The template guides responder solution, architecture, design. Okay, this is more about architecture, and here it talks about integration specialist, IT manager responsible for migrating, BizTalk workflow, EDI purpose, custom validation, trigger notification, email, updates on-premise SQL database, SFTP for input, REST outbound. Okay. So there are two scenarios. Based on two scenarios, it will give two queries to it. So these are the two inputs or two scenarios for our agent. Our agent, which is transformer 1, which is a migration suggestion or migration solution suggestion for agent for solution suggestion. I'll select both the queries and I will run the responses. So what it will do, it will take each query, it will give it to our agent, and then it will show us what our agent returns. Yeah. So for each scenario, agent will suggest a kind of solution or design. So for this, it suggests this solution where it talks about ingesting HL7 messages.
I really like this solution with these bits of it.
Yeah. I am hoping at the end it also writes that
In a general itinerary.
yeah. Okay, and then this one also analyzes the current solution, and then it suggests the solution using Azure Integration Services, the Logic App to support this, and then pipeline for transformation, and various other things. Yeah. So these are the two questions, and these are the two answers. Yeah. So let's say we like this one, and maybe this one was far from what we expected. Now we want to add, so this was manual evaluation. Now these are the evaluators which are available as part of AI SDK. So as you can go with the name, they are like for intent resolution, for accuracy, for task adherence, for relevance, for coherence. Yeah, so different types of evaluators are available, and you can select one or more, of course, depending upon your scenario, but also what kind of output you expect from your agent. Sometimes being more polite is more valuable for you because your customer are directly talking to the agent. Sometimes more straightforward. So, or sometimes sticking to the documents or policies you have provided it. For example, maybe it suggests some insurance policy for you, so it should not go out of the boundaries of what company offers. Yeah. So there could be multiple things where you want to judge it. Yeah, and then you want to improve it. Yeah. Once you have the response, you can either fine-tune your prompt itself, or you can also fine-tune your model by training it, providing it more data, etc. So there could be multiple things which you can do. Also, sometimes what happens, maybe that agent, maybe that model itself which you have selected for the agent, that is not good enough. It could be because of context, it could be because of the purpose, there could be various things there as well. So for demo purpose, it just, maybe I will select coherence and I will select task adherence. Yeah, I will select two of them, and then I will select which model should I use to run these evaluation. Yeah, so I will select a different model now so that they can cross-check each other. Yeah, this we knew. Rate limited, got it. I will run evaluation. Responses we already have, so I will not use consume more tokens but just run it. And now you see there are two more columns visible here because of the evaluators you have selected. If you select more, there will be more columns. It will rate it from, I think, from 0 to 5, how much that AI agent find the response according to these parameters. So if it is more within the passing threshold, which sometimes is 3 and sometimes 4, depends upon which evaluator you are selecting, it will tell you whether this response is passed or not on that particular parameter. And then based on that, you can actually feed that response back to your prompt or to your fine tuning, to your data, or maybe selecting a different model itself.
So I missed that. Which company is the extension? Is that a Microsoft extension?
matters of
You can
substitution.
possibly.
This is this one.
Can you give these evaluators custom instructions as well?
Yeah, and you can have your own evaluator as well. So you can build your own evaluator and you can configure it and it will be visible here. You can also do it on AI Foundry, on cloud, but you can also do it from VS Code. Yeah.
When you talk about finance, you're doing what does the modify the weights?
Fine-tuning means it can be in two ways. So it can be by giving it more and more training data, giving more and more context. Yeah. So sometimes it could be that when you start asking it the questions from its persona, it will improve itself. Sometimes it can also be that you provide more and more MCP to your agent so that it can have a wider context. Yeah. You can connect your, I don't know, maybe a SharePoint website where you have uploaded your document. Maybe you want to connect it with your knowledge base, of your ITSM tool. It could be various things which you want to provide information, as a source to your agent. Yeah? And that will improve the responses. Sometimes it can also be changing the prompt itself. Yeah? So you add something in the prompt because you realize in the response that, okay, this is something you don't want or this is something which is missing. So you explicitly mention that in the instruction itself that you must do or must not do these things. Yeah. So this is done. So here you see it has given it 5, and the reason is because it maps it with Azure services, address all the requirement and provide a structured migration plan with no critical gaps. That on the task adherence and coherence also on 5. I am seeing 5 for the first time. And here also 5. Yeah, but it was a different, I will not call it partial because actually this agent is running on OpenAI, but evaluator was running on DeepSeek. So it's not that it's favoring each other, but it's actually evaluating the responses. Yeah.
But it's a Microsoft tool evaluating the responses. There are many Microsoft tools.
That's what I'm saying.
They might have both
I am
ones.
seeing 5 for the first time. I haven't seen 5. In my previous demo, it also gives a reason and everything. It also explicitly mentions here the threshold. Yeah. And also.
It's accurate because when I say HL7 in the room with a Microsoft person, they all like that.
Yeah.
Hybrid.
Yeah.
What
See,
was
hybrid
it?
integration. Yeah. It talks about things. I'm not sure how accurate, but so switching back to the PPT. So we did explore the models. Yeah. So we saw the models and then we compared them in the playground. Yeah. Using AI toolkit and in the model catalog where we saw GitHub hosted models as well, where they were free to use, no API keys needed, no sign up is needed. You could just use them. But of course, rate limit applies. You can just use them for trying out that okay, which one is better for you. Also, Azure hosted model, which will come from your AI Foundry. So there's what we deploy. Yeah. Also, in AI Foundry, you can enable private VNet integration, etc. So it can be really hosted in your network. So that is all possible there. Or you can also use the locally hosted model, as we saw in local Foundry or in Olama or any other tool. Or any other third-party APIs which is accessible via REST endpoint. Yeah, you could just engage them in your agent as a model and use it. Yeah. So, then we did design the agent, yeah, for which we asked to suggest a model. First of all, we suggested a couple of them. We selected 2. We compared them, and then based on that, we selected 1. Then we used again AI to generate the instruction. It could be done manually as well, yeah, which is even better. But then you can also improve it if you something which you don't like, you can improve the prompt. And then finally we came to evaluation where we evaluated it. Yeah. So Evaluation basically is the critical path for Gen AI ops, because in real world, we of course care about what it responds. If the agent gives bad recommendation, then users lose trust very fast. Anyway, generally we don't trust AI as of now. Of course, it's not mature. And so here we used AI toolkit to evaluate responses in 2 ways. We did it manually as well, those thumbs up and thumbs down. Yeah. And we also use AI assisted, where AI toolkit run evaluators like adherence and relevance, or adherence and now we, I think selected those two across a test set of queries which either we can provide or it can also generate. Yeah, and then it gives you performance on a scale, and you can decide. And these tools help us to catch issues early, iterate faster, and build trust on output before going live. So the demo is already done. I'll move to the next slide, probably last one from my side. Yeah. So here are some tips for meaningful agent evaluation. Yeah. So first of all, evaluating agent is only effective if you are very structured, which means if you do random changes here and there, you want to get desired output, or even if you get, you won't be able to track it. Yeah. So idea is that you need to be consistent and thoughtful in your approach, how to test. Yeah. So first point is change one variable at a time, which means if let's say you have version A of an agent, which is using GPT-4, and then you have version B, which is using DeepSeek in this case, yeah, and a new MCP2 and a new prompt, then you would not know that what actually worked out, because you have changed multiple things. Yeah. So when you are comparing, ideally you should change just one variable at a time. Either just change the prompt or model or a new MCP tool, etc. But don't change too many things at single point of time. Yeah? Then only you will learn what is actually helping. Yeah? Then using same test prompts. So running each version of your agent against the same scenarios. Ideally, that's the one which will reflect what user needs. Yeah, and then only you will be able to see that okay, with the exact same scenarios, with the exact same input, how they are behaving. So that will help you to identify that okay, this one works best for me. Yeah. Then again, evaluating your responses based on various constraints you want to provide it. Also keeping notes or change log of what you are changing. It can be very simple. It can be like similar to as simple as that. Okay, V3 I changed the model, or in V4 I changed the prompt. I added this word. Yeah, it could be very simple change log, but this will help you to identify what actually worked. Yeah, and again, you need to also watch the trade-offs. Sometimes one version will improve relevancy but loses fluency or speed. Yeah. So testing helps you surface these tension which you want to prioritize. Yeah, for your agent. And then finally, it's not about finding the best version, but it also to identify why one version works better and not the another one. Yeah, so that you know what actually worked for you. So that's all about evaluation from my side. What goes to Jan?
Right. You think he's done all the demo, all the cool work. I understand it. I don't touch it anymore because I'm an architect, but very interesting. I must say it's the simplest stuff that even at my company works, and some other insurance company that go more data driven. You start with a problem, business case, not the model itself. And then you think about the evaluation, which you showed, but also observability from day one, so there's security. And it's also a product, eventually, that you put in place that you need to continuously maintain as well. So that's the ops things, or with BizTalks and the integrations, you need to continuously maintain those. And then there's another thing, because even at my company, we developed something around AI, which is called Agen, which helps our call centers when, an insurer calls up and says, hey, I got a problem, or what about my physiotherapist, can I still do this or that? And then basically it listens in and then gets the context while it's still the call center employee still having a conversation with the insurer itself. So he focuses more on the people side, while the agent or bot is listening in and then get the right context to help eventually the customer itself. So it's still the human in the loop. It's not completely replacing call center agents, it's just more being optimized towards the person on the call, while the agent listens in and does it all. What you need to do, because this started as a proof of concept, which is now embedded into, or needs to be embedded into our actual systems to help those call center employees. So the agent itself is not the goal. It's basically the start of a production line. And that means also that, in this case, the people that build the agent, like for instance Sagar, eventually needs to collaborate with other developers, embedding the agent, let's say, in existing software. In operations. So, what can you do tomorrow? Well, if you want to do this, and you want to do similar what he's done, install Visual Studio, get the AI agent, plug it in, start small with some prompts and stuff, similar when you did back in the day when you started WatchCap, start small and then you can build the integration stack if you want. Similar to with agents, you do the same thing. You draft a plan, you do evaluations, and then determine also who reviews, depending on the agent you build. Okay, you're all list of people, so you saw what you done, you understand it. But when it comes to other things, you need to see the reviews. Explore Foundry for your platform. There are other cloud providers too. I think Google has Gemini. I think Vertex agents, so that's kind of their playground where they have the models. AWS is Bedrock, so I would say start small, but in the end, you need full picture. I think that's it, right? Right in time. Any questions? Are there still questions?
These evaluations that you are using, basically design time in VS Codes to evaluate some possible scenarios. Like, do you run these in production as well, like as real production scenarios go through your agent, that you have these evals as well that evaluate those responses?
No, rather I would see evaluators as unit test, basically, for what you have planned to do and then whether it's matching your objectives or not.
What did you run in production? We feed our telemetry back to the evaluator.
It's
not cheap.
Yeah, but I think that's more data fine tuning. So it's learning, it's building its context based on data. Evaluator is more based on, of course, these were some standard, but for your company it could be entirely different, and you can build a custom evaluator, and it could be more around data as well. Yeah, so like you want to play more with data, and based on that you want to rate it. But generally, it's like you don't want that your customers or your users are having bad experiences, and after that you are changing it. Of course, we do that. As of now, also the application which goes live, we found issues and then we first fix it later on. But it's better to do it beforehand.
But it's hard to predict, right, what people are going to do with your agents, especially when it's like a customer-facing agent. People might try to prompt inject it and stuff like that. So it would be nice to at least automatically monitor for that kind of stuff and maybe automatically evaluate it.
It is, but also if you've seen the evaluation screen, that you can actually upload a CSV with your questions. So for example, you had a chatbot before, yeah, or FAQs or whatever, yeah. You can actually upload all that, see how your agent will behave for all those questions. You can rate it so that it will immediately feed that feedback to the model and fine tune it then there. But yes, it will happen in production as well, and we will need to then do it from there also. But idea is not to do it there. Yeah, do it before.
Any other questions? All right, thank you very much for the session. Okay, so we've come to the end of the MIUG tonight. I hope you enjoyed learning new things. I also want to thank all the speakers for their session, so I'll give them one more applause. also for Amis, Conclusion Amis, for hosting this event. So the next MIUG sessions there will probably be 2 more this year. The next one will be at Sagar around May, June, and the last one in the end of the year, October, around October, at Codit. So so keep following us on LinkedIn, and if you like to do a session like you've seen tonight, please contact us, send me a PM on LinkedIn, and we will arrange it. So have a great evening, and I hope you enjoyed it. For drinks, you can go to the place we were already.